All right, we can get started a little bit. Good afternoon. Hopefully you enjoyed lunch and you navigated the elevators and made your way back here to the session room. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but we do this, this is like the 5th year in a row that we have done this session. It's just a means of making sure that we can get all of you under one roof and listening to all the different opportunities that the airports have coming up. So we have a very, very full roster. What I believe is we can make these presentations, if any presentations, we can make them available after the conference. We'll load them up, and I promise we will have them this time. So there won't be really a Q&A, but like I said, the presentations will be available to download afterwards. So the first person to come up will be Mr. Brad Wolf from Salt Lake City. Brad?
Thank you and good afternoon. Salt Lake City, if you've flown through there recently, you haven't noticed anything. If you've left the facilities, you've noticed a lot. We have a lot going on at Salt Lake City. So just if you're not familiar with our airport, we're at 23 million passengers in calendar year 2016. Our concessions program just surpassed $100 million a year, so that kind of gives you an idea of the size of our program. If you were to look at our airport in 2014, it looked a lot like that. Currently, there's a big construction zone just south and west of the facilities. In 2023, it should look something very close to that, an entirely new terminal facility. New facilities create new concession opportunities. Kind of give you an idea of what the concessions program will look like. In 2020, we will open the new terminal, the west concourse, and then a portion of a north concourse. Everything, all the concession spaces are represented in red there. Give you an idea of the scope on the bottom portion from end to end. It's almost 3/4 of a mile. Phase 2 will come online in 2023. Between 2020 and 2023, we'll be using some existing facilities, existing concourses, so that has to factor into the mix so that we can maintain our gate count. As far as timeframes go, we're currently doing some public meetings, and the purpose of the public meetings, I'm doing a little 2-hour workshop several times a month for the next several months, as long as people are interested. It's primarily for the local community to come in and learn about doing business at the airport. We have a lot of local interest, people calling up saying, how do I get into the airport? So it's just a real brief session to let people know about that. Our anticipated publication of requests for proposals is January of 2018, so not very far off. We'll go through the review and selection between 2018, 2019, design and build 2019 and 20. New facilities open. Our anticipated date right now is August of 2020 for phase 1. We have a ACDBE coordinator. His name is Raymond Christie. I have a stack of his business cards if any of you are interested in reaching out to Raymond. And his information is there as well. For the last several years, we have been part of the BidSync system. We're a city department of the City of Salt Lake. They've used BidSync historically, and many of you may have registered on that. We are no longer using BidSync. They've changed the system. It's now a system called SciQuest. If you're on BidSync, it does not automatically transfer to SciQuest. You would need to go back online and re-register. So if you're interested, please do that so that you'll get the notifications of the publication. And our educational sessions are also on our airport website, if any of you are interested in that. That's it. If you have any questions, I'll be here throughout the rest of the sessions. I leave on Thursday, and happy to answer them as I am able. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving right along. I don't know if it's in the attendee book or mentioned in the attendee book or not, but I know I think Denver was slated to attend, but Neil Maxfield emailed me and said that unfortunately they had to cancel their trip here, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. Anyway, next presentation will be Clarissa Mamaril from San Francisco International Airport.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Clarissa Mammerl. As Ramon said, I'm a principal property manager on the business development team at SFO. It's a very exciting time for us right now. We released 5 RFPs last week, and we plan on releasing an additional 3 before the end of this week. We plan on releasing 11 total this year. Before I get into those opportunities, I wanted to play you all a short video to give you all a flavor of SFO.
Hi, I'm Tony Bennett. Watch this, and you'll leave your heart here too.
San Francisco Airport is our #1.
Our favorite layover.
The funny thing about the airport SFO is you never know who you're going to run into.
Like that kid next to you could be the next tech billionaire.
When I'm here at SFO, I love to go to the Aviation Museum and also the little boutique next to it, the SF MoMA.
It has fantastic amenities. The lounges are incredible. Fantastic art exhibits.
There's a massage room.
They even have a yoga room.
And they've got a dog that does yoga.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously.
Where else can you enjoy the extraordinary neighborhoods of San Francisco in a setting like this?
Every time you come here, you go through the customs, you go through immigration. It's a really warm welcome.
Passengers go ahead and ask me what I like about San Francisco.
I love the people.
Obviously, the atmosphere is very easy, chill. It's a wonderful rail system here. Just catch the BART, goes directly into the city. I try to go to
Napa Valley.
Ashbury Heights.
Enjoy the sunshine.
It's so diverse.
So quirky.
Are these organic and locally sustained nuts?
So many tree huggers.
And so many dogs.
SFO is the perfect gateway to the United States, California, and our beautiful home, the Bay Area.
Ask any crew member, any pilot. We love it here.
Ambiance is awesome. The energy is great.
Perfect.
Best layover in the United States.
Thank you. So 2016 was a fantastic year for us at SFO. We served 53.1 million passengers, which was an all-time record for us for traffic. This achievement marked the 7th straight year of passenger traffic growth at SFO. Overall, our traffic grew by 6.1%, and our international traffic alone grew by 10%. Our average sales per in-plane passenger was $13.73. As I previously mentioned, we are releasing 8 RFPs this month, the first of which is the International Terminal A Historic Restaurant Concession Lease. This will be a 2,000 square foot opportunity in Terminal A, as indicated right here on this map. This space is a new location between gates 5 and 7. Since this is a new location, we don't have sales history. But as a reference, the sales for 2016 for our existing restaurants in that area were Amora at $4.7 million, Firewood Cafe at $6.3 million, Firewood Grill at $6.2, and Il Fornaio Cafe at $3.5. Next, we have the International Terminal A coffee kiosk. This is a 351 square foot opportunity, also on the A concourse. There's currently a temporary kiosk there in this location, and the average sales are about $7,000 per day. Next, we have the International Terminal A food hall and cafe concession lease. This will be 2 spaces, one 3,000 square foot opportunity. Oops. Sorry. The one 3,000 square foot opportunity in Terminal A, as indicated right here on this map, along with a 700 square foot cafe at our new consolidated administrative campus. Similar to the historic restaurants, these are new locations. The tentative schedule for all 3 food and beverage opportunities, again, we issued these last week. The informational conference will take place on April 5th, and the proposal deadline is June 23rd. We anticipate construction to begin January of 2018, with opening to take place in May of 2018. Next up, we have 3 services opportunity. The first is our Shoe Shine service lease, approximately 313 square feet in terminals 1, 2, and 3. We are going to issue this RFP later this month, and the informational conference will take place on April 12th. Next, we have the domestic terminals automated ATM leases A and B. Each of these leases are for 12 ATM locations in terminals 1, 2, and 3, and in the rental car center. We released this RFP last week. The informational conference will take place on April 6th, and the proposal deadline is June 30th. Next up, we have the International Terminal Newsstand and Specialty Retail Concessions lease. This opportunity is for 5 separate leases in boarding areas A and G, as indicated on this map. Lease 1 is for 200 square feet for a newsstand. Lease 2 is 1,000 square feet for a newsstand, and lease 3 is for 1,000 square feet specialty store, all in boarding area A. Lease 4 is for a 1,200 square foot specialty store, and lease 5 is for a 2,000 square foot newsstand, both in boarding area G. The newsstands on boarding areas A and G did an average of $3,900 per square foot in 2016, and the specialty stores on A did an average of $1,300 per square foot in 2016, and the stores on G did an average of $1,800 per square foot. We plan on releasing the RFP this week, with the informational conference to take place on April 4th. The proposal deadline will be June 23rd, and construction will begin January 28th with openings in May. Next, we have the International Terminal Duty-Free and Luxury Store leases. This opportunity is for 11 locations under 1 lease, totaling approximately 47,000 square feet. There's a total of about 19,000 square feet on the A concourse and a total of 23,000 on the G concourse. And there's also a 3,700 square foot location in Terminal 1. In 2016, the duty-free and satellite stores on boarding area A did $31.8 million. Boarding area G did $56.8 million. The luxury stores on A did $3.8 million in sales, and G did $15 million. We plan on releasing this RFP this week. The informational conference will take place on April 4th, and the proposal deadline will be September 15th. We're going to be doing construction in 2 phases. The first phase will begin in September of 2018, and the second phase will start in April of 2019. Full rent commencement will take place in September of 2019. In the second quarter of this year, we plan on releasing 5 retail opportunities, totaling approximately 4,700 square feet in Terminal 2. We anticipate releasing these RFPs in June of this year. Our third quarter, we will be releasing an RFP for 2 pop-up locations in Terminal 3. These opportunities will be for a combined 733 square feet of move-in ready space, and these opportunities will be for 1 year each. Finally, in the fourth quarter of 2017, we plan on releasing RFPs for Terminal 1 Phase 1. There's a total of 30 food and beverage retail spaces that are going to be available. We plan on posting that RFP in October. Next up, we have the T2 and T3 spa lease, 2,000 square feet in Terminals 2 and 3. We plan on posting that in October as well. Finally, we have our employee cafe, which will be a total of 3,200 square feet pre-security in Terminal 2. We plan on posting that RFP in December. That's it for our opportunities. Thank you for your attention, and enjoy the rest of your conference.
Okay, and our next presenter is probably the nicest man in the world, from Ottawa International, Coleman Swartz.
Good afternoon, folks. Great to be here. It's just real quick, it's an honor to be sharing the stage after a relatively short amount of time in this industry with airports such as SFO and Minneapolis, both of whom have been very helpful to me in trying to better our game and really setting trends for industry best practices. And great to see you all here. I've worked with many of you. Some of you are currently our partners, and some of you hopefully are partners one day in the future. Whoops. There we go. So, Ottawa is Canada's capital. We are a small, friendly little airport just north of the border. We've been recognized as being the best in North America, in fact, in 2011, and we were the second best in our size category in 2012, and we've managed to stay sort of on top 5 podium ever since then. We're fairly well connected. We have non-stop service to London Heathrow year-round. We have a Frankfurt flight, which is seasonal, but most of the year is running. Good connectivity to the eastern US. Lots of sun destination vacations because everybody in Canada wants to get the hell out of Canada from about December through April, and naturally to the rest of the country. Too many numbers on this page, but fundamentally we're a 4.7 million passenger airport, 2.35 million enplanements annually, growing steadily at this point at about 2 to 3%. We're a peaky airport. We're sort of a morning peak around 6 to 7 a.m. and then it picks up again around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. If you're a food concessionaire and you can figure out a way to invent a meal between lunch and dinner, you'll be in really good shape. We're not an overly seasonal airport. We have a peak in March, another peak in August, and a trough in April for some reason. Transborder and international are much more seasonal, as you can see, predominantly in the winter months. We are, despite our small size, we're always trying to grow. We're about to get, within the next 3-4 years, a rail connection to the city's rail network, which we think will be a bit of a game changer. We're the only major airport in Canada that doesn't have an integrated terminal hotel at the moment, but we're working on getting one. Land development is in my portfolio as well. We're always trying to pursue the airport city concept, and despite the fact that we're stuck between 2 behemoths in the Canadian airport world, Toronto and Montreal, within 2 to 5 hours drive on either side of us, we're always working on ways to be innovative and grow our air service. The things that you all want to know about. We are a roughly $23 million gross revenue program in total. The parts that will be up for bids will probably represent about 20 million of that number. No big surprise, we're heavily post-security slanted with about 80% of our sales currently. Revenue per enplanement knocking on $10, Canadian funds just for the record, and it doesn't include duty-free. The upcoming opportunity is in a format to be determined. It may be an RFP. We may be a little more flexible and sort of present it as a request for expressions of interest. Timing-wise, I regret that I didn't put that on this, but we're looking to go out with a package later this year, probably Q3, Q4, with awards to be issued in Q1 or Q2 of 2018. It's going to be 3 food and beverage locations on the pre-security side and approximately 8 post-security. 3 full serves almost for sure, but quick service depending exactly on how we configure things. On the retail front, we'll stick with 2 news and gift locations pre-security, and then approximately 5 post, a mix of news and gift and probably about 3 specialty retail. A look at our current program. This is our departures level, 3rd level of the terminal. And it's, oh, there we go. Just to zoom in a little bit closer. We have 2 cafes, we have a burger location, and we have a full serve. Relay news and gift is the yellow that you see there. A couple of quick images of our program. We think we're a little bit over-retailed upstairs. On the arrivals level, it's sort of the flip side. We have, again, a relay news and gift, and we have a Tim Hortons cafe kiosk, which at approximately $8,000 per square feet, we're thinking indicates a little bit of pent-up demand there. And a quick shot of that. On the air side, the majority of our terminal is the domestic international combined hold room. Just zoom in real quick to the center court area. We have 1 security processor. As you pass through, you will see, surprisingly, another Tim Hortons. We have a full serve. We have a relay news and gift. We have an iStore, and we have a bookstore. Moving down the hall a little bit into what we call Phase 1. This is predominantly Air Canada's area. We have a full-serve restaurant operated by Delaware North, which will not be part of this package. We have the specialty retail node operated by Paradis Lagardère, and a cafe just behind it operated by HMS Host. That's where our international duty-free is located as well. Moving in the other direction into Phase 2, which is the newer portion of the airport, and that's gone a little bit too far. We have a full-serve Irish pub operated by Host. A quick serve is a Starbucks, and unfortunately you can't quite see a smaller Relay News and Gift. And a couple of quick shots. You can see that our food court, such as it is located in kind of a low-ceiling area, whereas our specialty retail, our news and gift is in a very high, well-lit area. So we think that's a little bit backwards, and we'll be looking to change that. This is a shot of our retail node, specialty retail, and our Tulip wine bar. The transborder in Ottawa is a pre-clearance facility, so it's segregated. Passengers move through on the 3rd floor, past the duty-free shop, and walk down into hold room level, where they will find, you'll be shocked, another Tim Hortons and a Relay News and Gift shop. Again, the food is operated by Host on that side. There's a full-service restaurant as well. A couple of quick shots of that program. So what are the challenges and the opportunities? We think fundamentally there's a bit too much real estate on the ground side, particularly at departures level. We think that our specialty retail is not showcased as it should be, and always looking for that identity and theming and sense of place that makes things just work that much better. So on the arrival side, we think we'll stick with 2 locations and just want to optimize them a little bit. This is running away on me now. On the departures front, we will go from the current layout, which is a little bit scattered and probably oversized, to a slightly more condensed layout. We want to retain 2 quick-serve locations and retain some kind of a news and gift feature. The little cafe there in orange is Good Earth Cafe. It's a Canadian brand which will be retained. It's not part of this offer. Moving to the air side. So the center court, we're going to see some significant transformation. We want to move the specialty retail into the center. We want to grow the full serve opportunity a little bit, and we want to relocate the quick serve off to the side, again into that high ceiling space. If we can, the smaller blue block where the bookstore is currently, we'd like to retain that, but the growth of the security checkpoint may require that we displace that. The orange retained food is a Booster Juice location, and again, that's not part of this package. Moving into Phase 1, we'll be retaining the Tulip wine bar, but the specialty retail portion will be transformed into a news and gift opportunity, and next to it we want to put a cafe quick serve in, which we feel will act as magnets to draw people down to that end. The small retained specialty retail is a metalsmith's jewelry kiosk, and that will be not part of this package. Moving to Phase 2, we will be keeping a full serve and a quick serve, again looking for a cafe use, and we want to transform that quite undersized Relay into a much larger inline news and gift location. On the transborder side, we've already put in progress some of the changes that are happening there. The duty-free will very shortly be, I'm told the hoarding is actually going up today. The duty-free is going to move down to hold room level. It's going to be merged with the news and gift, so our duty-free operator DFAS will be running the news and gift currently under the Relay brand, and we'll be converting their old space into initially a Tim Hortons, which will be operated by Host for a few more years, and that can remain a Tim Hortons as part of the new program, or it can be transformed into something else, and the full serve will also be part of the package. Ottawa's got a bit of a reputation as a town that rolls up its sidewalks at 5 p.m. and goes to sleep. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Slow down. We're an active city. We like to get out. We like to listen to music. We like to bend ourselves into weird shapes on city streets. We're a fun-loving town. We love to eat as well. We got a good food culture. We like beer. We have a lot of microbreweries and a really good range of cuisine from Asian to Mediterranean and sort of everything in between. We also like to dress and spend and put on a bit of a show. We have some of the highest retail spend in Canada on the street side, and we are either the first or the second most affluent city by household in Canada. Our tastes run from everything from the MEC, as you see there, Mountain Equipment Co-op, it's our version of REI, all the way up to Nordstrom, which just arrived in the city last year. So that's Ottawa in a nutshell. It's the airport and the city. I hope you've gained a little bit of an appreciation for what we have to offer. I just want to leave you with one thought, which is when in doubt in Ottawa, the one thing you can always count on, give the people poutine. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Coleman. Next group to present will be Jason Paltzer, Shanetta Griffin, and David Shaw from Indianapolis International Airport. Come on, guys, up.
All righty, good afternoon. So as mentioned, I'm Shanetta Griffin. I'm the Senior Director of Planning and Development for the Indianapolis Airport Authority. And we are going to tag team a little bit today. So Jason Paltzer, David Shaw, and I will be presenting. Also, Marcia Stone is here at the conference. So again, if any questions, you can talk with all of us. Marcia is the Senior Director of Commercial Enterprise, which our concessions, retail, and other operations fall under. So again, she would be a good contact person to talk to. So just a little bit about Indianapolis. So we are the 14th largest state in the United States, nicknamed Hoosier. So we are very proud of our Hoosier hospitality. And that's really about the friendliness that we try and make sure that we exert to all of our visiting passengers. 1.8 million in density, and certainly the fact that we, from our in-caption area, about 3 million people are within 2-hour drive from the airport itself. So we're nationally and globally recognized. Certainly we've been voted as the #1 convention city in the United States in 2014. Certainly known for our Speedway, NCAA, hosted the Super Bowl, our museums, several different types of museums. Our Children's Museum is rated #1, but certainly several of our other museums. Voted the 26 hottest food cities of 2016, so we're very proud of our local food offerings, and then certainly travel and leisure, most underrated cities. Indianapolis International Airport, we opened up a new terminal in 2008, not just a terminal, but a campus itself, one of the first LEED certified campuses in the country as far as an airport is concerned. 46 nonstop destinations, and we continue to add nonstop destinations. 8.5 million travelers. Because we are an O&D, we are very dependent upon the economics of the area around us. So that's why we've been fortunate to see a 6% more travelers in 2016 over 15. We're adding Alaska Airlines in May of this year with nonstop service to Seattle. And then Southwest, even though we have all of the major carriers, Allegiant, Frontier as well, but Southwest is our largest carrier for the airport. IND, we are a world-class award-winning airport. Certainly very proud of this. This is something that one helps us in regards to what Jason and David will talk about our concessions program and how we're looking to continue to engage others to be award-winning along with us. So several awards. ACI, we just recently received the 2016 distinction as well. Very proud of that, along with Condé Nast and J.D. Power's Travel and Leisure, and also TripAdvisor. Our concession program is award-winning as well. ARN, we received several awards through the organization, up for several this year, along with ACI. Our program continues to be outstanding in nature, but certainly it is an older program. Since the airport opened, this has been the only concession program that we've had, and that's why we're looking now to talk about the opportunity that's coming up. So in lines with that opportunity, because the airport is, or the terminal itself will be 10 years old in 2018, along with several of our concessions that are expiring, we wanted to make sure that we took a look at what was best for the airport. We wanted to look at relevancy, we wanted to develop a sense of place, and we wanted to make sure that our local offerings are being taken advantage of. So we've gone through about a year and a half planning exercise where we've gone out and determined who's our customer currently and who our customer will be into the future. We'll take that information and we'll incorporate that into our upcoming RFQ, again, that Jason and David will talk about in regards to our concession. But we have 3 guiding principles that we'll be asking anyone that responds to our RFQ to think about what is authentic to the city of Indianapolis, that giving that element of surprise, and then also what brings delight. These are the 3 elements that all of the individuals that we surveyed and talked to feel that that's what's iconic to Indianapolis. So with that, I'll let Jason and David talk a little bit more about the opportunity.
Thank you, Shanetta. Again, my name is Jason Paltzer. Been with Indianapolis Airport for, it'll be 3 years this July. So it's my 3rd ARN, so it's a pleasure being up here. So like Shanetta mentioned, Dave and I are gonna kind of talk about the concessions program. Dave's gonna talk about the kind of what is gonna be on the horizon, where I'm gonna kind of talk about our current concessions. So again, we're transforming, we're evolving the airport for the next generation of travelers. It's a great time, it's an exciting time to be at Indianapolis, okay? So as you look at the layout of the terminal right now, what we have is 59,000 square feet dedicated to concessions. 42% of that is in our pre-security landside locations, okay? The remaining is obviously on the post-security sides. It's too robust pre-security. It's overbuilt. That's one of the things, the visions that we have to look at when we are going through our space planning for our RFPs, and what we're gonna do is we've got to repurpose that space. Part of it, probably because, you know, we have in our Civic Plaza, all these stores are in the periphery. We have a couple of kiosks in the middle. I should have included a picture, but I did not. So it's just not utilized as much as we thought by the non-passenger or the meter and the greeter. Passengers, as you know, they kind of have that mindset where they want to get through the security checkpoints. So, you know, that's going to be a big focus point, is landside pre-security. The other part of it is our own fault too. You know, on day 1, 8 years ago, you know, you could probably see a lot of things. The sight lines were a little more open. Now, trees have grown, furniture has populated, we have more signage everywhere. So it's cluttered, it's not intimate. So we have a big task on our hands there. So overall, we have 53 total spaces currently, and again, with 42% of that space being in pre-security. Want to kind of break down some of the statistics for you and stats. So we did have a banner year in 2016. Our overall program is at $47.3 million. Food and beverage obviously is the driver of that, being north of $30 million. But we did have some significant gains in all categories, especially specialty. That was nice to see that, because we were having some negative returns there in the previous years on sales. So it was nice to see them in 2016 climbing back up. Just to kind of mention something about employments, we are actually, 2016 was our best in-plane passenger year at the new terminal, and within 1% of IND's existence, which the all-time high was 2005. So far, we're actually tracking better in 2017 than we did in 2016. So you can obviously see that the early data is going to suggest that the sales will keep increasing in 2017. And then I wanted to also break this down a little bit more for you in sales per employment. I know you see a lot of numbers out there. You can kind of see we're tracking upwards, and then obviously we went a little bit down in 2015. I can maybe explain that, and I will in a second, but then obviously back up to $11.20 in 2016, and that's all encompassing specialty retail and food and beverage. So when you kind of benchmark us against airports of our same size in the country. We're definitely up in the top quartile. So the exciting thing that happened in 2015 is with Indiana being the crossroads of America, it's not too far of a drive to, or at least I should say it's manageable to drive from Indianapolis to some kind of hot destination such in Florida or even New Orleans here. So Allegiant Airline came on in 2015, which really captured a new traveler, somebody that maybe hasn't traveled before. Now, obviously, they're coming back and back to the airport more and more. So, we're introducing that to them, and that's obviously improving our employment numbers. So, Dave?
Thank you, Jason. Sorry, I'm going to make sure this is the right button. So this one, Jason?
Yeah, forward.
Got it. So we're about probably 6 months before the SFO presentation, which was great. It kind of gave us a little bit of anxiety because, as you see, we've got 36 leases that are expiring here at the end of 2018 and then 6 more at the end of 2020. So we certainly have our work cut out for us. I'm sure it was an easy effort to put up what you put up. Certainly, the airport will be changing a lot in Indy. Just because we have a current layout as we have, certainly does not mean that stuff is going to look the same here as we get into 2018 to 2021. Obviously, a lot of the work will be in phases. There's no way we're going to close down and or change out 36 up to 40 leases over a span of 2 years. So we're in the process of space planning right now and trying to determine exactly who and what is going to go where, as well as working with partners. As I've heard a lot of folks say over the course of the last day, local is the push to go, so we're working hard with scheduling meetings with local partners and local restaurants and bar owners. Again, we will have a new fresh take on our sense of place as far as in Indy. I've heard a lot of that over the last day as well. So just because it looks how it looks today, it's not going to look the same here in the next 2 to 4 years. Just a quick timeline. Again, we're about 6 months in advance of where SFO was. We've got RFP workshops and prep going on right now. Our RFP issuance date will be in Q3 or Q4 of this year. The RFP due dates will be depending upon obviously when they go out, so Q4 of this year or Q1 of 18, and then the tenant concession awards in Q4 or Q1 of 2018. We're here through Thursday. Happy to answer any questions, meet with anybody. Thank you very much.
We're making good time. Just quick bit of housekeeping for those of you who don't know. We will have the opening reception later this evening at 6:30 down at the Elite Hall. So if you just take this second floor straight to the back, down a set of stairs, around to the back, around to the corner, up to Bourbon, to the left, you take the elevator up to the 32nd floor, cross over to the bridge, go down back to the 5th floor, and jump, and you'll get there. You got that? Because I don't have a slide for it, so. No, in all seriousness, it'll be at about 6:30, sponsored by HMS Host. We'll be passing around a lot of drinks, ribbon cutting. Maybe I'll sing, if you ask nicely. So that'll be at 6:30 downstairs at Elite Hall. Honestly, it's just straight down on this level and go down a flight of stairs, or if you're really brave and up for some pain, take the elevators. Anyway, with that said, I'd like to introduce our next presenter, Miss Elizabeth Jacoviak of MSP.
we've been busy. It's kind of exhausting looking at that, knowing that we have opened 47 new concessions since July. You'll have to pardon my voice. I did not get the memo that Ramon was so kind to share with us at the airport manager's luncheon to pace yourself here in New Orleans. So I sound like I was on Bourbon Street, and perhaps I was. But I'm Liz Jacoviak. I'm the Assistant Director of Concessions and Business Development at Minneapolis-St International. And we are just wrapping up phase one. We will have 50 brand new units opened here by this spring. And we are getting ready to publish our phase two RFP, which I'm here to talk about today. And we'll be doing that here in the next week. I threw in this disclaimer so that this can live online, and we are in the throngs of trying to finalize information, so some of the things that are presented today may change here in the next week and a half. I'm also here with our Director of Commercial Management and Airline Affairs, Eric Johnson, and Matt Grimm, our Manager of Concessions and Business Development. We do have very limited time to continue to meet with people, but do grab us during any of the opening networking opportunities or down in the exhibit hall, and we'll try to answer any questions that you may have. We also do have flyers with all of our contact information available, and I will have those up front here at the end. MSP is one of the nation's busiest airports with over 37.5 million passengers this last year. We're an international airport and a hub for Delta Airlines, and we're owned and operated by the Metropolitan Airports Commission. Our authority, or the MAC, let's go back a slide. I swear it's not me. They're messing with me back there. The MAC is governed by a board of 15 commissioners, and 13 of those commissioners are appointed by our governor in the state of Minnesota, and then one respectively by the mayors of St. Paul and Minneapolis. And we own and operate 7 airports in the metro area, MSP being our largest, and then we also have 6 reliever airports with a new concessions opportunity available at one of them. This is an overview of Terminal 1. We do have 2 terminals at MSP. However, the upcoming opportunity is focused exclusively on Terminal 1. Wanted to extract some demographics so that for those of you who are not familiar with our airport would have a little bit of an understanding of what you can anticipate with our customer profile. So boy, I didn't realize I was going to do that. For our connecting and originating, 40% of our passengers at MSP are connecting, which is higher than the national average. For our dwell time, I think we've got a pretty solid story there to tell, which is 71% of our passengers are in the facility for 90 minutes or more. Again, higher than the national average. For the passengers traveling for leisure or for business, we have 54% coming through for leisure, and 15% of our passengers are first or business class, which again, slightly higher than the national average, and a strong demographic for concessions. 67% of our travelers travel less than 6 times a year, which is closely matching the national average. And our age group is 44%, 55 years or older, higher than the national average. And our gender, interestingly enough, I think it's counterintuitive, our passenger demographic is 57% female. So good for the retail, I guess. We do have 15 airlines represented at MSP, and it's all the major carriers, and we hope to be adding JetBlue to that list this upcoming year. 24 new routes were added in 2016 and the early part of 2017, so we've got a lot of growth and development occurring within our routes as well. We rank 11th in the nation for nonstop service to 131 destinations. And you can see that there's a lot of large urban areas that fall underneath our ranking, and that's a testament to the community in which we live in, which we have a strong representation of Fortune 500s. So a lot of strong business growth and development in the Twin Cities area. Passengers departing by time of day, it's really an ideal scenario that we have at MSP where we have pretty consistent levels of business throughout the day and through all meals. We too fell just shy of our strongest year back in 2005 and experienced 37.5 million passengers this last year. And again, we too are projecting to exceed that and break our record in this upcoming year. Our total concessions area that we have at MSP, once we implement phase 2, we will have grown up to 202,000 square feet. We are doing an addition to our main mall food court area and expanding and taking over existing restrooms, so we'll be adding to that portfolio. If you break down that square footage, you'll see that predominantly the opportunity lies within food and beverage. And that too is reflected in the sales that we experience at MSP in 2016, having achieved $187 million. 143,000 of that was in our food and beverage program, or 143 million, pardon me. Our ACDBE goal that we have established for this phase 2 RFP is a minimum of 18%. And an overview of the units that we have available. We have 19 units representing 29 to 34 concepts, or 29 to 34 restaurants. That differentiation is found within the food courts. So we have 7 full-service restaurant and bars, 4 limited-service restaurant and bars, 4 food courts with a minimum of 14 concepts up to 19 concepts. And then we have 4 other units, 2 coffees, 1 juice bar, and 1 snack concept. Batches, we do require that operators may offer proposals on any or all batches, and operators must propose a concept and full financial offer for each location within a batch, so you cannot cherry pick within the batch. And contingent offers will not be accepted, meaning that you will only follow through with the award if you win a minimum volume of business. We have 7 batches, so again, the 19 units are broken up into 7 batches. Varying in size. The first batch, 121, is in our main mall, and it has 3 units in it. One is a full-service bakery and cafe with a local element. We have a full-service steak and seafood and restaurant, again, a local element. And lastly, a fast casual Asian restaurant and bar. Our second batch is 2 units, and one of those is our main mall food court, which will have a minimum of 5 units represented, up to 8. And then we also have a national brand that we're pursuing for a full-service casual bar and restaurant. Our third batch is 4 units. We've got a fresh-pressed juice bar, a fast casual limited restaurant and bar, a food court with a minimum of 3 units up to 5 units, and a full-service cafe and bar with limited food service. The fourth batch, again, 4 units. We've got a full-service casual Mexican or Latin cuisine bar and restaurant, a food court with a minimum of 3 units up to 5, a snack concept, and a full-service casual bar and restaurant. Again, seeking out a national brand there. The fifth batch is 4 units again. We've got a full-service casual bar and restaurant on the end of Concourse F, a full-service casual bar and restaurant with a regional or local element on Concourse C, a full-service cafe and bar with limited food service, and a additional food court with a minimum of 3 up to 5 brands. The sixth batch is a single unit, and that is going to be a coffee unit. If I can get this to advance. Ramon, I think you're just trying to prolong my presentation. Bite up time. The sixth batch is, again, a coffee, a single unit, and that's at the head of our Concourse F. And then finally, batch 127, our final opportunity, is going to be a single coffee unit as well. So those are our 7 batches representing 19 units or 29 to 34 unique brands. Our timeline is as such, we're looking to publish this RFP here in the next couple of weeks. There will be approximately 11 weeks for the respondents to put together their proposals. We'll take the summer to review that, and we will make a recommendation to our commission in September of this year. We'll immediately sign contracts and finalize those agreements in the month ahead, start the design process, and we are excited to say that we're hosting the Super Bowl in 2018. And so as soon as that final plane takes off for Super Bowl, we will commence with construction. So what are we looking for? Earlier today at one of the sessions, I think Tanya had talked about, if the airport takes the time to put together the goals and objectives, it's really important that the interested parties look at those goals and objectives and tell your story of how you align with what it is that we're trying to achieve. So what are we looking for at MSP? We're looking for operators who share our passion and commitment to customer service. You will get our feedback. We have a lot of programs developed within our program to help you be able to train your employees and to incentivize your employees. We want operators who go beyond expectations to serve our customers with excellence, diversity, and quality. And we really do mean that. Again, we will get in there, we will engage you, we will give you feedback, we will talk about opportunities to grow your revenue and how to align everything that it is that we're trying to achieve. And hopefully we'll have a really great, strong partnership through that communication. Contribute to a well-balanced program complementing the recent development. We did just develop 15 restaurants, and so we tried to look at phase 2 and curate this program to ensure that we're maximizing availability of products that would be desired and pursued by our passengers coming through our terminal, but in a very balanced way. Thoughtful balance of recognized national brand names along with local favorites to satisfy the needs and likes of various customers. Our 7 restaurants that we awarded that were full serve in our phase 1 RFP were all local concepts. And so it's really important that we tell that story and that we have that access to national brands here in phase 2. And lastly, operators with the ambition and motivation to keep MSP a trailblazer in the retail and food and concessions industry. Thank you very much.
All right, just a couple more presentations. Finally, I'd like to invite Brandon Mark, Oakland International, to discuss his opportunities. Brandon, you have no PowerPoint, right? Because Liz broke the controller. Okay.
Great. We're just a little overwhelmed, I think, by all the opportunities that are out there. Oakland is a little premature in our RFP process. We expect to have it out this summer, and we really haven't quite figured out everything we're doing. We have some flyers up front. We have a program with 21,000 square feet, just food and beverage, that's coming out. There's 16 locations and 2 terminals. Oakland is growing. We have most destinations we've ever had. We're up to 60. Our passenger traffic, if continues, which we're expected for 38 straight months of growth, so we're approaching 13 million passengers this year. So the opportunities will be out this summer for the RFP, just food and beverage, and we're just still not even sure what kind of packages we're going to make, what the management contracts will look like. So I encourage you to look for us on iflyoak.com. Pick up one of our flyers here. It has a lot more details about what's going on at Oakland, and the flavors that we're looking for will be in those presentations. Thanks.
And lastly, I'd like to invite Mr. Izzy Bonilla from Milwaukee International.
Good afternoon. I don't have a presentation, but I do have a song and dance routine here. Glad to be here since I just found out I've got 10 inches of snow in Milwaukee and coming from Florida. I guess I'll let my director of operations take care of that. But basically, I'm here this afternoon to talk a little bit about Mitchell Airport. That's Milwaukee Mitchell Airport. We're kind of in between that big Minneapolis Airport and Detroit and Chicago. We're in Wisconsin, home of the Badgers and the Cheeseheads. There you go. Got one guy. One guy. Damn. Okay. Well, anyway. So what I want to talk a little bit about this afternoon is we have an RFP out in the street. We do know what we want. We didn't take a genius to find out that we had a lot of pre-security space, and what we needed to do is kind of rearrange that. And we're looking for partners, and I've heard all this afternoon about the word partnership, and that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for partnerships. We want to take off the landlord hat, and we want to put in the partnership hat, and work with a consortium or a company that's willing to come in and redo our concessions program at General Mitchell, which is nothing wrong with it right now, but we like to agitate things up in the Badger State. And the reason we're doing it is because we need a central security checkpoint. Just like Indy, they notice that they have a lot of pre-security stores and space. We also have that, and it doesn't take a rocket science to understand that people just want to go through the security checkpoint. But what is so unique about what we're asking for? What's so unique about what we're asking for is because I'm asking for you all to go ahead and build that security checkpoint for me. All right, don't throw any tomatoes or eggs at me, but I need to save my pennies for my international concourse. So, but it's really a unique concept. We're looking at a public-private partnership, and it's something that we look forward to rearrange the 3 terminals that we have and the 3 security checkpoints into one. So Mitchell Airport, for those of you who don't know it, we have about 6.5 million passengers. We're growing at a steady rate of about 3.5% year over year. We were the hub for Frontier, Midwest Express. I don't know if anybody flew in Midwest, but I didn't, but everybody kept talking about the cookies inside Midwest, so I missed that. But since we've been dehubbed from 11 million passengers, we're now at about 6.5. We talked a little bit about local, the sense of place. I'm a firm believer in that. We need to stop this cookie cutter approach that some airports are either forced to have or are, basically they're kind of, because of space and the way the airport is constructed, that's what they have. But as an airport director, what I want to see is get out of that cookie cutter approach and let's look at something different. Let's find out what the new millennials are looking for. Let's look a little bit about what the passengers are looking for today. And let's look at what the best practices are internationally and bring them over here to the United States. And even an airport like Milwaukee can benefit from that too. So we're looking for that sense of place. We're looking for that local flavor. We want our DBEs to be successful, and we want a partner that's willing to partner with us and make those DBEs successful. So again, we have the RFP in the street right now. It opens on the 25th of May. I feel like I'm here like, let's make a deal. So if anybody wants to talk to me about our RFP, or with Michael Fetchko or with Joe Crump from Unison, we will be here until Thursday or until the snow melts in Milwaukee. Thank you.
All right, so like I mentioned, those presentations will be available on the ARN conference website after the show ends. So thank you for all the airports that participated. Thank you for Denver for not showing up. And just to let you know, the Business Pitch Showcase will be taking place here in this room at 3:30. And it's going to be a fun time, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So come on back at 3:30. Thank you.